In this lesson, we're doing a practical walkthrough using real planner pages to demonstrate the tools you've learned. This is not a full planner setup. Instead, I'll be showing helpful on-hand examples of how these tools work together with Breezy products and a few planner pages as visual content. The examples you'll see in this lesson include paid products. I'll be using January monthly stickers and color blocks along with color changing tabs, Planner Pal, Notes Pal, and the 2026 Landscape Planner. These items are used strictly as visual examples. The tools and techniques shown apply to any planner, notebook, or layout you choose to use. As you watch, focus on how the tools are applied in real planning scenarios, using text and backgrounds for labeling, simple links for navigation, and stickers or color blocks to support structure. This isn't about perfection or decoration, it's about seeing flexible, repeatable ways to use the tools you've learned. Let's move into the walkthrough. I'll demonstrate these tools in real time and explain my choices as we go, so you can adapt what you see to your own planner and workflow. Let's get started. One helpful habit is turning on file extensions so you can see them at a glance. Different file types behave differently, and seeing the extension helps you remember how each one works before you even open it. I'll explain the different uses as we go. First up is the PDF. We'll import the PDF using the Create button and import file. We're going to select our PDF landscape planner and we'll set up our layers, renaming the bottom layer as locked, tapping add and renaming it to edit, and tapping the padlock to lock the locked layer and stay on the edit layer. Let's long press on January to go to the monthly overview page, and I'm going to select the pen tool and I'm just going to rough sketch in some of the events I have this month. I like to do this as far in advance as I can by using my iCal that I share with my husband. And then I have one for my personal stuff. I have it for the dogs. I have it for work. I have it for some other extracurriculars that I do. So I like to at least jot everything down because most times I am not ready to commit to a font yet, but I at least want to feel like I'm being productive and getting the important stuff written down. This, of course, is personal preference. If you're ready to commit to your font, you can just skip this step. Or if you'd rather put the text down first and just change the font out as you need. When it comes to your text size, sometimes it's better to adjust the text size rather than using the resize handles because changing the font size keeps your text consistent with other boxes and avoids having to reposition or realign it. This is especially useful when you're working with multiple headers or labels and want everything to match neatly. Both ways will work. In this example, I am just going to do the resize and then I'm going to duplicate the text box so that the formatting stays, double tap in the text box and type out the next one, and then just repeating these steps until everything is typed out, using the eraser tool to erase the handwriting, the lasso tool to reposition the text box. Once ready to commit, I'm going to lasso both and then I'm going to tap on move to layer, select locked, and then you can see that now these elements won't move because we're on the edit layer. We can tap on the layers panel and tap locked, and then we can freely move these around again. Back to the edit layer. JPEG images can usually come from your camera roll, but I save this in a file, so I would have to do it by importing file. If you had it in your camera roll, you would want to use the image tool. And then we're going to use the favorites in the pen section to save these colors. I like using the list option, so we're going to tap that, tap the plus sign, go to the wheel, and then tap the hexadecimal code, type that in. And then we're just going to continue to add in all of the colors one at a time. And you can see them being added one after another. And you'll notice that it is hard to see what I'm typing because the keyboard takes up a lot of space. If you were to zoom out just a little bit more, it would actually make this a lot easier to see. So now you can see all of the colors and I don't need the image anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And since these items were moved to the locked layer, we need to go to the layers panel and tap on locked. And you can tap on the text box and use the font bar at the bottom to change to the color, or you can use the lasso tool to lasso, tap style, and then select your color from here. One of the ways I like to use the highlighter tool is by making a dot on the day that I happen to use a daily spread. I don't use the daily spreads all the time, but this way, when it's marked this way, I know that I have used it or I do plan on using it. Or if there's something particular that I want to remember, I can use the highlighter tool on the text. When you're using the shape tool, your color options are tied to your pen or your highlighter tool. So when you tap on the highlighter tool, depending on the colors you have saved there, can be your defaults, and same goes for the pen tool. So let's start with a rectangle, and we're going to add a pop of color over to the template side. Let's lower the opacity, and then we'll size it to fit how we want. I like to line it up with the longest word or sentence on the screen first, and then I will lay out the rest of the boxes. That way I'm confident that it will fit over each word. And we'll duplicate them, lasso all of it, duplicate it again to mirror to the other side. And practicing with the text tool, we're going to select a font and a size. This takes a little bit of tweaking at first to get it to look like you want it to, but you'll just type out a word, choose a background style, adjust the corner radius and the padding, and just adjust to your liking. And it's still a little bit too big because of the overflow of the background. So we're going to lower it just a little bit more. And let's reduce the padding. It's a lot easier to focus on just one box at a time when you're resizing and adjusting. Remember that all of the tools here would be applicable, even your vertical alignments. And then once you have everything figured out, we can just tap on it and duplicate it, do a link practice. We can tap on the text box, tap link. Let's do a web page to the Breezy website. Let's put placeholder text in the next box, and then we'll duplicate them. I like to do this if I'm undecided on what I'm going to do because it'll save me time later. Visually, I like this more than just having the same word over and over again. And using the lasso tool, I'm going to lasso two of them and change the color and then repeat those steps. And then depending on how dark your color is, you may or may not want to use black text. You could either change it to white and have these signify something that stands out differently than the other ones, or you can just lighten the color or change the color and stay with the black text. I did split this video into two. This would be part one. I'll see you on part two.